We got multiple casualties. This is a mass casualty situation here. Be advised, we have multiple people on the ground from Chambers all the way up to Houston.
There was one female that I saw near the body. She must have seen it actually happen because she just kept screaming, and it was...
There were 3 bicycles, and they were destroyed to a point where I didn't know that bicycles could be destroyed in such a way.
This is just a normal day at school for me, and it was just surprising to see something like this could happen down there.
A shocking attack in New York City, just feet from children getting ready for Halloween and in the shadow of the World Trade Center.
8 people are dead in what's being called a deliberate act of terror, and a note found at the scene references ISIS.
Thanks for being with us on Nightside. We know it was probably hard to see that news alert while your family was getting ready to celebrate Halloween.
So here's what investigators and witnesses say happened. We want to walk you through this. A 29-year-old man from Uzbekistan who lived in Tampa drove a rented Home Depot pickup truck into a bike path, running over people who were walking and riding their bikes. NYPD says he stopped when he hit a school bus, then got out of the truck holding a paint gun and a pellet gun. Witnesses say he then shouted Allahu Akbar, which means God is great in Arabic. Police say an officer shot him in the stomach. 8 people were killed and at least 12 injured. Tonight, police were at a Home Depot in New Jersey surrounding a minivan with a Florida license plate that may be connected to this attack.
We're digging deeper into the suspect's connection to Florida and New Jersey. Nightside reporter Mark Rivera is live at the man's last known address in Tampa.
Yeah, Carolina, a Florida license and a traffic violation brought investigators here to this last known address for Sayfullo Saipov. He's now accused of the largest terror attack in New York City since 9/11. He came to the U.S. in 2010 from Uzbekistan, and now the neighbors that I talked to at this complex say they are worried that something like what happened in New York could have happened right here in Tampa.
It's something scary, something bad, because, you know, knowing that you saw a person just move in like a week ago and then realize that everything is going on is something bad, something scary.
Angelica Guzman says she just moved from New York a year ago. But even though she's 1,000 miles away in Tampa, seeing the mangled bikes and crime scene in Manhattan has her worried.
Knowing that a family member or somebody else could be in that position is something sad.
Guzman lives across from the last known Florida address in Tampa of 29-year-old Sayfullo Saipov. Investigators say he's responsible for the attack that killed 8 and put more than a dozen in the hospital. They're looking into this address and one in New Jersey. He doesn't have much of a criminal record, just a few traffic violations. Officials in New York say this seems to be a lone wolf terror attack, not part of a wider plot. But Guzman, who lives so close to the man accused of this brutal attack, wonders if the same could have happened here.
We have kids here. We have, you know, they walk to the school and they come back from school and, you know, something could happen, the same thing that happened in New York, it could happen to them too.
And that is not something anybody wants. This is still a developing story. Investigators are going to continue to release information. As soon as we get more, we're going to bring that to you right here on 10 News. Reporting live in Tampa, Mark Rivera, 10 News.
All right, thank you, Mark. Let's take a closer look at how this terror attack unfolded. It began a little after 3 p.m. in Lower Manhattan, and you can see here One World Trade Center right there. The truck drove onto the bike path at West and Houston Streets and then drove south several blocks, hitting more than a dozen people. It hit a school bus and stopped at West and Chambers right outside of Stuyvesant High School. Lots of students there, just 4 blocks from the World Trade Center.
Terrorists have been known to drive trucks into crowds of people with the goal of killing them. In recent history, this kind of attack has happened in Europe. In July of 2016, more than 80 people were killed when a Tunisian man used a 20-ton truck to drive through a crowd celebrating Bastille Day in Nice, France. Then in December of 2016, another Tunisian man drove a tractor-trailer into a Christmas market in Berlin, Germany. That attack killed 12 people. On March 22nd of this year, 4 people were killed after an SUV drove through a crowd on a sidewalk along Westminster Bridge in London. Then in June, 2 attackers drove a van through a crowd on London Bridge. And in August, 13 people were killed and 130 injured in 2 separate van attacks in and near Barcelona, Spain.
And Alex, Facebook and Twitter were filled with videos and photographs shortly after this attack.
Right, and tonight now we're seeing sympathies from the leaders of our nation as well, obviously expressing their sorrow for the senseless and terrible attack. The president, of course, tweeting his thoughts, condolences, and prayers to the victims and families, adding, "God and your country are with you." Vice President Pence tweeted, "The U.S. people stand with NYC after today's cowardly act of terror. When terrorists bring violence, America always brings justice and resolve." New York Governor Andrew Cuomo shared this photo of One World Trade lit up in red, white, and blue, saying New York is an international symbol of freedom and democracy, and we will not be deterred. Hashtag NYC Strong. And finally, Hillary Clinton posted, "New York's resilience is stronger than any cowardly act of terror." And Catalina, we can expect to learn more on social media as well as from police. And of course, we'll have updates on WTSP.com, our Facebook page, and our free 10 News app as well.
All right, thank you, Alex.